welcome to a second edition of our virtual discussions where we briefly talk about what Invest Saint Lucia does and how we're involved in Saint Lucia's economy and supporting the government of Saint Lucia. I am here again with Alana Lansico, who is the Investment Services Manager, and Philbert Rubrin, who is the Senior Investment Services Officer.
Hi.
So today we're going to go into BPO, business process outsourcing, as one of the main sectors, primary sectors that Invest Saint Lucia is focused on. I'll start off with one question, and whoever wants to answer, feel free to jump in. So what exactly is BPO, and what are the development opportunities that it offers to the Saint Lucian labor force?
Okay, since I am directly responsible for this sector, I will take this question. So BPO, or call centers as we generally know them, they do business process outsourcing. This has over the years changed a lot from just answering calls, call centers, answering calls, that's what everybody knows it's synonymous with, to actually processing, knowledge processing, where they actually do things like loan applications for banks. They do lease abstracting. They do medical records processing, all done here in St. Lucia for international clients. So it's basically outsourcing of processes that people normally have in-house. And it's very important to St. Lucia. I know that there has been weird stigmas attached to them from the inception. Many young people have worked there, but it has provided employment and spin-off transient jobs as well in the neighborhoods, with the taxi drivers that get the contract to transport them, the bus operators, with the people that make their food and they drive there to sell their bakes and their dals and whatever, to the buildings that they rent. It has created generated a lot of movement in our economy. And the sector keeps on expanding, and the sector is actually growing right now, whilst all other sectors are actually contracting. So it is very important, and it provides a key element for St. Lucia, which helps with our youth unemployment. So that's pretty much what BPO/call centers are.
So what about in terms of personal and professional development in BPO organizations? Because before, like you said, we've known it to be just call center jobs, but now we have different opportunities. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, now what you get is you actually have individuals or young people learning skills. We have one of our new entrants, BPO, does lease abstracting. So these young people now are learning the skill of being able to abstract different information from leases, useful information. So you have almost like a paralegal type skill being learned by young people, where there's no other place in social that teaches that skill. So these persons can now, when they're ready to move on to another place of employment and have that skill that nobody can take away from them. Loan applications. I mean, that was something synonymous with only people that worked at the banks here. Now you have a bunch of young people actually processing loan applications for companies in the United States. You have because if you think about it, on our scale, if a bank here gets 50, 60 loan applications, it's fine. But when you have a large international bank getting 80,000, 90,000 loan applications, especially in times like now, where the government of the United States government has put out that stimulus package for small businesses, and those loans have to be processed. Some of that is being done right here, right now. That's things that people don't know about the BPO/call centers is what's happening. So that's why BPO is actually important right now, because they're growing.
Okay, thanks. Can you explain to me what's the difference between BPO and KPO? They're interchangeable sometimes, but it's not really. So can you explain that for me?
Right. So you have the knowledge processing side, which is KPO, knowledge processing outsourcing. So that's what I just spoke about. Those are the lease abstracting, loan applications and stuff. The business process side, you have the persons that actually, excuse me, that do take calls for business places. So we have call centers that take calls for doctors' offices, for hospitals in the United States right now. Um, that persons are not really in the office doing the admin work right now. We have call centers that actually make calls. So learning sales skills, which is something that is actually dear to my heart. Learning customer service, which is something that many countries struggle with when you walk into a place. These people actually learn at a high level, and you know, being from a sales background, the hardest thing you can possibly do is a cold call if you're a salesperson, right? And these guys make cold calls to people all the time, and they're learning that sales skill, which is like off the fly. So it's not just going in there run of the mill, processing stuff like kind of like drone work. Which I mean, I'm just being really frank. What people
Mhm.
think about it, they're actually learning stuff, and when they leave these institutions, they can actually use that on their resumes to get jobs and to have those skills, those training skills. Sorry.
Okay. So BPO sounds like it's a big deal now. It offers a lot more than what we originally knew it as. So can we go a little bit into why is it a growing sector? Why is it growing more advanced into different sorts of opportunities? And do you see it continuing to grow even amid this pandemic?
Yes, I do. BPO is growing well just because of what I mentioned previously, where a lot of businesses are now scaling down their operations and sending their work, outsourcing their work. So it's growing. There's a lot more demand for their services right now. And also, I mean, we here in Saint Lucia, we have something that most Saint Lucians don't even know. We have the most neutral English accent. This is something that's actually a plus for us as Saint Lucians that the BPOs appreciate. We're near shore, so we're only 4 hours from the United States. We're 8 hours from the UK. A lot of these call centers are moving over to the Caribbean and they're looking for a place. Saint Lucian people are warm, they're friendly, they're technical, they're skilled. Okay, they have our schools now teach a lot of IT, which is the basics that they need to get people in there. Our people are smart. So we are, and also they love Saint Lucia. I mean, we tie in all our sectors with the fact that we're the honeymoon destination of the world. I mean, what's there not to love? That's all about love, right? And they come here and they fall in love with the people, the warmth that they get from everybody, and they actually want to live here. Many of the persons that come in to set up actually end up staying here. So it's
Yeah.
a great feat.
I mean, just to add to what Philbert is saying, the trend was already happening where larger businesses wanted to focus on their core business and the other aspects of their business, whether it be admin, sales, customer service. It felt it was more productive to give that to a company that specializes in that for a fee, and they could just focus on the core business. So that's one trend, and we see that continuing. I would say in this unique situation we are confronted with, it's only going to grow because the outsourcing sector was able to remain open for the most part when other businesses had to close, simply because most of their staff were able to be deployed from home and work from home. They did not have to be in an office. They did not have to get on a bus to go to work. They were provided computers and laptops and software and IT support for them to connect and do the work for their clients with minimal, if any interruption. So you actually saw more business coming to Saint Lucia
Right.
because the workforce was able to remain steady. Clients needed work done because their offices were closed in the US and Canada and other parts and many locations where these clients come from, while we saw other countries closing down. So I think in going forward, BPO businesses will continue and their clients will continue to evaluate what works best for them in terms of efficiencies. But the fact that St. Lucia was able to remain open, of course, we had some hiccups. We have to acknowledge that. I expect that we would in a situation like this. But for the most part, the firms here did a really good job in working with the ministries and the officials here. We using the background for them as well, so that enabled them to remain open and do business and show to their clients that St. Lucia was able to deliver for them.
Okay, so both of you mentioned that, well, BPO is already here and it's growing, and it's something that we've already had to deal with even in the midst of the pandemic. So there have been other countries in the world who struggled with health and safety in BPO centers. What would you say to local BPO investors who are mapping out their recovery plan? How do you think they should go about in laying out their measures, or what they would be doing after the fact?
I I think my main word to them would be to follow protocol as much as possible. Um, that's the advice that I can give, is to follow protocol. I reach out to my counterparts in the different islands, even in Jamaica, where they had the call center that all the call centers are now, they closed down, and they had one where they had the 30 to 50 persons
Yeah,
contracting COVID. And one of my counterparts, one of the investors over there, told me that basically, like people, some people follow the law and some people don't follow the law, and then everybody has to pay for it. It's a bit of what happens with the shutdown. It's a bit what happened with the non-alcohol that we have here. I mean, just need to talk about it, right? It some people make it bad for others, and this one call center that was basically allowed people to not follow the protocols, and then they had this issue, and then everybody had to close down. So for here, I think going forward, we are going to, and not just BPOs, but generally businesses will have to learn to live with COVID. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. And my thing would be to follow protocol so that we don't get any trouble. So we try to limit the amount of people that get sick. Um, any kind of sickness is a disaster for a call center. You have a flu in a call center, it's a disaster. Okay, so not just COVID, because when people start falling sick, it's a monetary disaster for them. So it's in their interest to keep people safe and to keep them healthy. And that's what I've been preaching to them and speaking to them about ever since this COVID thing started.
okay. And we've also established that they've been one of the leaders in laying out protocols and finding ways to work remotely, work from home. So that's a plus for us in Saint Lucia. Um, but what makes Saint Lucia desirable for BPO operations, and why is it safe, especially now during this pandemic?
Well, whenever I travel, I sell the country and then I sell the people. I not sell, but I basically tell we tell the BPOs what the people have in store, and the fact that we are here willing to see their business grow and to grow with them, and to taking the experiences that they bring into St. Lucia. We are still Invest in Lucia is still here to facilitate and help them. We're here for the aftercare part, which is something that I champion for the Invest in Lucia business, for all investors. It's the most important part, because things go wrong. In all businesses, things go wrong, and it's how you assist people when things go wrong is what makes the difference between, you know, an investor staying or leaving. So we have this aftercare. We help with the facilitation. We help you get through with all the concessions. We're here to help you. We're here to help you make Solution your own. The team is here. We're all poised, and we're ready to do business.
Okay, so that's it for me. Do you have any more additions, either of you?
Alana,
No,
you have?
but I think we covered everything. I just to reiterate the fact that Saint Lucia remains open for business. We welcome call center operators. And the things that made Saint Lucia desirable before the current crisis still remains. So whether it be proximity to markets, neutral accent, concessions, government support, turnkey facilities,
Correct.
those things still remain, and talent. So Saint Lucia should still be considered as a nearshore destination for those companies and clients that need outsourcing services.
Okay,
And
so
and I just want to add that our investors that we've met along the way are very so much interested in St. Lucia. So just to let
Yes,
you
they
know
are.
that. Yeah.
Yes, they are.
okay, so that's great. At least we know we can recover our BPO investment leads, and so on. So thank you again, Philbert and Alana, for spending some time answering commonly asked questions or addressing misconceptions, especially about BPO. To our viewers, again, feel free to share your questions and comments below. And also, you're able to still reach out to us on Instagram and Facebook, and to visit our website at www.investinglucia.com. Thank you.